Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today, grab your hard hats because we're not just talking about network security. No, we are going to build a digital fortress piece by piece to really get a handle on how to protect ourselves online.
And this quote, it really sets the stage perfectly, right? This stuff isn't just for some IT department locked away in a server room. Not anymore. In the world we live in, being ready and secure, well, that's a responsibility for every single one of us.
So, here's the plan. First, we'll check out the battlefield, see what we're up against. Then, we start building, layer by layer. We've got the outer wall, a secret passageway, and even the guards inside. And to wrap it all up, we're going to bring it right back to you, showing you how to build your own personal fortress.
Okay, let's get into it. Before we even think about laying the first stone of our fortress, we've got to survey the land, right? We need to understand exactly what we're facing out there.
So, let's talk scale for a second. Get this, 800 million. That's how many people were affected by cyber attacks, and that was way back in 2013. To really put that into perspective, it works out to about 25 computers getting hit every single second. I mean, this digital battlefield is absolutely massive, and the fight is happening 24/7.
And the weapons being used? They're all over the place. It's not just some computer virus. You've got phishing. That's basically a con artist trying to trick you into giving up your keys. Then there are denial of service attacks. Think of it like creating a giant traffic jam right in front of the castle gates so nobody can get in or out. And then you have these really sneaky tactics like data diddling, which is, subtly changing information before it's even written down. Super sneaky.
So, with all that out there, how do we even begin to defend ourselves? Well, you start with the first, most critical layer of any fortress, a big, strong outer wall. In our world, that's the firewall.
Think of it as the main gatekeeper for your entire network. It stands there, checking the ID of everything that tries to come in or go out, and it makes those decisions in a split second, all based on a set of security rules that you've given it.
And it's important to know there are two main types. You've got hardware firewalls, like the one probably built into your router at home. That's the main wall protecting the whole network. But then you have software firewalls. That's more like a personal bodyguard for one specific computer or device, an extra layer of protection just for that one machine.
So how does this gatekeeper actually work? Well, first, you give it the rulebook. Then it starts inspecting all the little bits of data or packets that come through. But to be smart about it, it uses something called stateful inspection. All that means is, if it sees a friendly face it already knows and trusts, it doesn't make them go through the whole security check again. It just waves them through because it remembers the conversation. It's efficient.
Okay, so the outer wall is strong. That's great. But what if you're outside the fortress and need to get information back in safely? How do you do that when the whole world out there is, kind of dangerous and full of spies?
I mean, this is a huge challenge today, right? Especially with so many of us working remotely. You just can't trust the public internet. It's like a public highway with no rules. So you have to build your own private, secure road.
And that private road? That's exactly what a VPN is, a virtual private network. It's not a real road, of course. It's more like a secret, armored tunnel that your data travels through. It goes right from your device, straight through the chaos of the public internet, and lands safely inside the fortress.
And the magic that makes this tunnel so secure is something called encryption. It basically scrambles all your data into a secret code while it's in the tunnel. So let's say someone's trying to eavesdrop on you at a coffee shop. All they're going to see is complete nonsense. Your stuff stays totally private.
All right, we've got a strong wall. We've got a secret tunnel. We're safe, right? Well, not quite. The battle isn't just on the outside. A truly secure fortress needs guards patrolling inside the walls too.
And this is a really tough question. Because what happens if the threat isn't some invader trying to break in? What if it's someone who's already inside? Someone who has the keys, but decides to do something malicious? How on earth do you spot that?
Well, that's where something called an intrusion detection system, or IDS, comes into play. These are your guards on the inside. They're constantly walking the halls, and they know what normal looks like. So when they see something weird, like, say, someone from the stables trying to get into the royal treasury at midnight, they sound the alarm immediately.
And this idea leads to a really big shift in how we think about security today. The old way was trust, but verify. The new way? It's never trust, always verify. It's called zero trust. And it means you throw out the whole idea that being inside the network automatically makes you safe. Nope. With zero trust, Every single person, every single device has to prove who they are every single time they try to access something.
So, how do you actually do zero trust? It's all about having smart rules. First, you're super careful about who gets keys in the first place. That's account management. Then, you have what's called dynamic privilege management. That's a fancy way of saying if someone starts acting weird, you can change their permissions on the fly, so their key suddenly doesn't work on important doors. And finally, you're always checking the security logs to look for anything that seems off.
Okay, so we've talked about these big corporate-level ideas, but let's bring this all back home. How can you use these same exact principles, layers, constant verification, and just being aware to build your very own personal digital fortress?
Here's your personal checklist. Using a password manager? That's like having a master keymaker who creates a unique, unpickable lock for every single door. Turning on two-factor authentication? That's like needing a key and a secret password to get in. Securing your home Wi-Fi? Well, that's your main castle wall. And learning to spot those phishing scams? That's just training yourself to see through a bad disguise.
And this quote really nails it, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Our brains are terrible at remembering a bunch of crazy, complex passwords. It's just not what we do well. That's where a password manager is a lifesaver. It's like a digital vault for all your keys. You just have to remember one strong password to open the vault, and it handles the rest.
And really, that's the big idea that ties everything we've talked about together. Your security is not one thing. It's not one product. It's layers, multiple, independent layers of defense. So if one layer fails, and sometimes they do, there's another one right behind it, ready to stop the threat.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. The question isn't just, am I secure? The real question is, how strong are my layers? Are all your defenses working together? Because building that digital fortress, it's not something you do once and then forget about. It's a constant, ongoing process.